Good morning, sir.
Okay, so where we stopped last week, Saturday, we want to solve a question on transcript. That is where we stopped. So please, let's try to solve the question. So once we are done with that, we move to next topic called public sector audits. So please, somebody should help us read question 1. Question 1.
Let me read, sir.
Okay.
Question 1. You are the accounting technician for the Ministry of Agriculture. The following information are available in the records of the ministry for the month of December 2012. Balance brought forward 1st of December 2012. Bank debits 3 million naira. Cash debits 48. Revenues collected during the month of December 2012 were above the line. Classification description 061. Other internal revenue, bank 120,000.
Other internal revenue.
Bank 120,000. Then the next one, 062. License fees, bank 200,000. 071. Royalty on agriculture inputs, bank 8,000. 072. Water rates, cash 12,000. 10.8. Tender fees, cash 28,000. 11.13. Registration fee from contractors, cash 20,000. 12.11. Rent on junior staff quarters, cash 7,002. 12.12. Rent on senior staff quarters.
Please just go to the requirements. What is the requirement in this question?
Okay. You are required to prepare the transcript of the ministry for the month of December 2012.
Okay, thank you. So we are asked to prepare transcript. Like I said, if you want to prepare transcript, we'll have revenue expenditures or revenue receipt and payment. So the heading for transcript preparation, we have head, description, subhead, description, amount, subtotal, and total. These are the heads. Look at the question, the solution. We start with the name of the ministry, Ministry of Agriculture, transcript for the month of December 2012. After that, we are going to have heads, subheads, description, amount, subtotal, and total. So in that case, that is the head of the transcript. When you want to prepare your transcript, you divide it into 2. We will have revenue, we have expenditures. In our revenue, we have above the line revenue, and we also have what? Below the line revenue. In our expenditures, we have above the line expenditures. We also have below the line what? Expenditures. So first thing you need to write under your revenue, the balance brought forward from the beginning of the month. What is the balance brought forward from the beginning of the month? That means the closing balance for the month of November is going to be the opening balance at the beginning of December. So for the balance brought forward, we have bank. The amount in the bank is 3 million naira. And we have another one, cash. That one is 4.8 million naira. This balance brought forward, you are going to put it in the total column. You are going to put it in the total column. You now start with above the line revenue. In the question, what are the above the line revenue? If you look at it, they said revenue item collected during the month of December were first one above the line. What are the above the line? Code 06/1, other internal revenue. Another one, 06/2, license fees. 07/1, royalty on agric input. Ladies and gentlemen, first items and second item, they belong to the same heads because they start from 6. Because the code starts from 6. That code means 06/1 means 06/1 means head is 06. Why subhead is what? 1. 06/2 means head is 06. Why subhead is what? 2. So they belong to the same heads. So since they belong to the same heads, what you need to do, this amount, what column are you going to put them? You are going to put them under the amount column. In our solution now, you will write above the line revenue. First above the line revenue, we have other internal revenue. The head is what? Look at the head. The head is 06. Why the subhead is what? 1. Second one, 06 head. Subhead what? 2. So in this case, look at where I put the amount. 120. It was put on. I post it under amount. And the second one too, 200. I post it under amount. Since 2 of them belong to the same head, you are going to post them under the amount. At the end of the day, if you don't have any heads that start with 06 again, you are going to close at 06. If you don't have any heads that start with 06 again, what you are going to do is for you to close head 06. How do you close the head 06? In such case, 120 plus 200. 120 plus 200. It will give you how much? 320. That 320, you are going to post it in the subtotal column. That 320, you are going to post it in the subtotal column. Another above the line item that we have, royalty and agric input, water rates. 2 of them belong to the same head. 07 is the head of 2 of them. While subhead of royalty is 1. Subhead of water rate is 2. We don't, apart from these 2 that have a 07, we don't have any other items of above the line that have a 07. So what that means is that you are going to add 2 of them. 8,000 plus 12,000. It will give you 20,000. That 20,000, where do you state it? Where are you going to put it? You are going to put it under subtotal. You are going to put it under what? Subtotal. We have another one. After water rate in the question, after the water rate, we have 10/8 tender fee, 28,000. This 10/8 tender fee, that is the only head we have. We don't have any other head that start with 10 again. Who can tell me where are we going to post this 28? Is it the amount column? Is it the subtotal column or the total column?
Subtotal.
We are going to post it direct to the subtotal. Since we have only one head, tender fee. Head 10 sub registration fee from contractors, cash. Registration fees from contractor, cash. Where do you post them? Registration fee for contractor, cash. Where do you post them? He has only one head 11, sub 13. We are still going to put them under subtotal. But rent on junior quarters, junior staff quarters, that one, they have two heads. Head 12, rent, first one, rent on junior staff quarters, 12/11. Second one, rent on senior staff quarters, 12/12. So the total of the two, since they have the same head, you are going to post them under amounts. And the sum of two of them is going to be 17,200. You want to ask a question, you can ask.
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm joining late. Please, which topic and what page on the material?
I can't hear you.
I said, good morning, sir. Sorry, I'm joining late.
Good morning.
Please, what topic are we treating and on what page on the material? I've not been able to locate the question on the material.
We started this topic last week, transcript. What we have left in this topic is for us to treat a question. So we continue from where we stopped last week. So I sent the material last week. You can get the material, is in your group chat.
Okay, sir.
Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
So since we are finished with above the line revenue, what you need to do is to add, is to go to below the line revenue. What are the below the line revenue we have in this question? What are the below the line revenue? What are the below the line revenue? After the above the line revenue, what are the below the line revenue in this question? Below the line revenue, we have first one, repayment of salary advance. Second below the line revenue we have is repayment of what? Spectacle advance. All the below the line revenue, we have only one head. All of them, you post them into subtotal. So when you want to post below the line revenue, you post it under the subtotal. This 2011 is an head on its own. This 3011 is an head on its own. So They are not the same. This is one head, this is another head. So that means you are going to post them under the subtotal. Are we making sense? Are we making sense?
Yes, sir.
So 2011, repayment of salary advance, 12,000 under the subtotal. 3011, 31,1, repayment of stataco advance, 4,000. So at the end of the day, all the amount in the subtotal, all the figure in the subtotal, you are going to add it together. Starting from 320 plus 20,000 plus 28,000 plus 20,000 again plus 17,002 plus 12,000 plus 4,000. Everything together. When you add them together, how much is it going to give you? All the amounts in the subtotal. All this, when you add them together, how much is it going to give you? It's going to give you 421,200. 421,200. That 421,200, you are going to post it in the total column. You know, this is total column. This is total column. That 421,200, all the sum of all the subtotal, you are going to post it under the total column. Can we see that? Can we see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So 421,200, you will post it under the total column. This 421,200, you will now add it with opening balance. What are the opening balance we have? 3,004,008. You will add it plus 421,200. At the end of the day, what will be your total revenue? Your total revenue. Your total revenue is going to be what? 3,426,000. You close it. You close your total revenue. Do we understand? You close your total revenue. You close your total revenue. Our total revenue in this question is 3,426,000. You now close it up. Is it okay? Are we clear enough? Okay, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
All right, sir. Good morning. This, in this question we are treating, they separated the above the line items and the below the line items. Is it possible we have a question that they just list everything and we are to decide by ourselves the one that is above the line and the ones that is supposed to be below the line?
Okay. Anything that have to do with loan, advance, what kind of item is that? Loan,
They are
advance.
below the line items.
Last week, I was explaining below the line item, above the line item. I said above the line item, there are items of income and expenditure that are provided for in the Appropriation Act. That means you can see them direct. You can trace them to the budget. Why below the line item? They are the items of income and expenditure in which the exact amount is not known at the time of budget preparation. Example of below the line item: repayment of loan, repayment of advance, deposits. All these, they are above the line item. So when you see anything advance, loan, deposit, you should know they are what? Below the line items. Sorry, they are below the line items. But when you see anything, tax collection, revenue, tender fee, registration fee, anything fees, they are above the line items. Do you understand? When you look at this below the line item, you can see this below the line revenue. They said repayment of salary advance. They collect salary as a loan. One of the staff collects salary as a loan. Is now paying back. It's a revenue. Repayment of spectacle advance. Somebody collects spectacle advance. Is now paying back. It's a revenue. Anything loan, advance, deposits, they are below the line items. Are we making sense? So we can go ahead to expenditures. After you have closed your total revenue, you will now go to expenditures. Under your expenditures too, you will have above the line expenditures and you will have below the line expenditures. Let's go and look at the question. What does the question say about expenditure? Payments. They said payment infected during the month were above the line. What are the above the line payments? Personnel costs, transport, stationaries, utility, vehicles. All these above the line payments or above the line expenditure, they belong to the same what?
Same head.
They belong to the same head. Because they start with 24/1. All of them, their heads is the same what? The head of all of them is 24. So where do we post all these above the line expenditures? Where are we going to post them? Since they belong to the same head. Since they belong to the same head, we are going to post them under the amounts. Under the amounts. That is where we are going to post them. Under the amount. Personnel cost 1.2. Transport 200. Stationery 400. Utility 16,000. Vehicle maintenance 12,000. At the end of the day, what is the summation of all the above the line? What is the summation of all the above the line expenditure? The summation is going to be posted under the subtotal, which is 1,828,000. That is summation of 24 under the above the line expenditures. Now, what are the below the line expenditure in the question? Below the line expenditure, salary advance, spectacle advance, all of them, they belong to the same. These two of them belong to different heads. So where do we post them? Since they belong to different heads, we are going to post them under the subtotal. Salary advance, 16,000. Spectacle advance, 6,000. they are going to be posted under the subtotal because they belong to different heads. So at the end of the day, what will be your total of the figure in the subtotal? This subtotal, you will add these three together. 1,828,000 plus 16,000 plus 6,000. What we are going to have is going to be 1,850,000. That is our total what? Expenditures. Our total expenditure is 1,800 and what? 50,000. That is our total expenditure. What will now be balance carry forward? The difference between total revenue and total expenditure is going to be the balance carry forward. Total revenue is 3,426,000. This is total revenue, 3,426,000. You minus 1,850,000 from it. So your balance carry forward is going to be what? 1,576,000. That is balance carry forward. Do we understand? Do we understand? So let's quickly look at the second question. Let's quickly look at the second question so that we can go to public sector and audit. Somebody should help us read the second question, question 2.
The Ministry of transaction for the month of June 2020. All the revenue are listed. Scroll down. We are receiving funds. To save our time, scroll down. Below the line revenues, they are all listed with their amounts. The expenditure as well. The opening balance for the month is 1,894,000 received side. We are required to prepare the transcript for the month of June 2020.
Required. What are we asked to do?
We are required to prepare this transcript for the month of June 2020.
Okay. So the heading is Ministry of Main Affairs, transcript for the month of June 2020. We have head, subhead, description, amount, subtotal, and total. Head, subhead, description, amount, subtotal, and total. Oh, yeah. So revenue first. Under the revenue, the balance brought forward for from last month is 1,894,000. That is the balance brought forward for last month. Why we have above the line revenue? For the above the line revenue, the first item we have education fee. It has a 10 subheads 1. Apart from that, we have medical fee, a 10 subheads 2, registration fee, and 10, sub-head what? Sub-head 3. So at the end of the day, we have 3 items under the 10. We are going to add them together. 700,000, 1,640,000, 1,340,000. 3 of them will be added together and we post it under the subtotal. That is 3,680,000. 3,680,000. Continuation again. We have another head under the above the line item. Head 80, sub-head 11, license to marry. Head 80, sub-head 12, license for hunting. Head 80, sub-head 13, license, delivery license. Since 3 of them start from head 80, we are going to add them together. 600, 800, 1.4. It will give us 2.8. So we go to below the line revenue. For the below the line revenue, we have head 1001, refund of marriage advance. Head 1005, repayment of motor vehicle loan. Head 1007, repayment of correspondence advance. Head 1009, repayment of salary loan. All of them will be posted in the subtotal. So at the end of the day, you will add all your subtotal together. When you add all your subtotal together, what do we have? We are going to 3,680,000, 2,800,000, 76,000, 260,000, 150,000, 26,000. Everything will be added together. It's going to give us 6,992,000. 6,992,000. That is the subtotal. That is the final sum of the subtotal. You're now going to plus it with the opening balance. If you plus it with opening balance, you are going to get a total revenue of how much? 8,886,000. The total revenue you are going to get will be 8,886,000. You go to expenditures. What are the expenditures we have? Above the line expenditure. For the above the line expenditures, we have a 2001 slash subhead 1 personnel costs, 1,460,000. All the above the line expenditures, they belong to the same heads. Their head is 2001. Why their subhead is what is stated below. Since all of them belong to the same head, you post them under the amount. 1,460,000, 160,000, 150,000, 344,000, 66,000, 94,000. So that is the sum of all of them. So you will now sum all of them. You will now post them under the subtotal. The sum of all this 2001 is 2,374,000. 2,374,000. That is the sum. 2,374,000. That is the sum. So at the end of the day, you have below the line expenditure. Below the line expenditure, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. All of them, loan for wedding, advance personnel, housing loan, Belgian advance. All of them will be posted in the subtotal. So at the end of the day, your subtotal, you are going to add them together, starting from 2,374,000 plus 74 plus 85 plus 294 plus 166. When you add all of them together, what are you going to get? You are going to get a total of 2,893,000. That is the total expenditures. That is your total expenditure. So how do you get your balance carry forward? Your total revenue, you minus your total expenditure from your total revenue. That means 8,886,000, our total revenue. We now minus 2,893,000 from it. Our balance carry forward is going to be 5,993,000. 5,993,000. Do we understand? Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
So any
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, I do have a question, sir. Can you hear me? Good morning.
So in the absence of no question, we are going
Sir,
to go
can you
to...
hear me? Good morning. I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, this transcript, the preparation is basically like receipt and expenditure. There is no other format apart
Yes,
from
receipt
your
and
line,
payment.
receipt and
It's
payment.
just like a cash book.
Exactly. So it's basically align your incomes and your expenditure and net it up between each other and arrange the
Yes,
head and subhead.
yeah, you are right.
All right. Thank you.
You
Just
are
want to
welcome.
confirm that.
So today we are looking at another topic called public sector audits. Public sector audits. Public sector audits. What do we understand by audits? What are the public sector audits? What are the type of public sector audits? So
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Are we done with budget?
we are not done with the budget. We are still going to continue budget. Do you understand? After the fasting, I'm going to start budget again by God's grace. So after next week, I will resume back from budget. So we are not done with budget. We still have two aspects in the budget that we need to solve.
Sorry, sir. This is your fourth or third topic. I'm so sorry. This public sector audit, we're about to start.
My first topic is what? Who can remind me?
Okay.
Our first topic. My first topic is what?
Local government.
Local government accounting. Second topic is what? Public accountability and transparency. Can you remember that?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have I not discussed public accountability and transparency?
Yes, you have, sir.
Okay. The third topic is what? Public debt and debt management. Have I not discussed that?
Yeah.
You have, sir.
Okay. After that, the fourth topic, public-private partnership. Have I not discussed that?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
Huh?
You have, sir.
Public-private partnership. When I'm
Yeah.
talking about privatization, commercialization,
Commercialization. Yeah.
You have discussed it, sir.
have I discussed that?
Yeah, we've discussed
Public
public-private
good and private
partnership.
good. We discussed public good and private good too.
Yes,
Yes,
you have.
sir.
Yes. After the public good and private good, I now move to budgets. I discussed some aspect of budgets. So I could not finish budget. I said I will continue budgets. From there, we look at transcripts.
Okay.
So this is another one now. Public sector audits.
So, I'm so sorry, sir. This your own is this your own material? Is it together with the other lecturers' material, or you sent this one for to be separately? Today's material, have you sent it separately, or it's together with the
This
other?
today material is in the pack. Is with the other lecturer the material sent by the other lecturer is for both of us too. But I have a practice. What is my own practice is any topic I want to discuss, I will send the material individually on a piecemeal, apart from the combined material. When you look at the combined material, you will see this public sector audit there. Do you understand?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
But I noticed that combined materials is all there's some difference from the one you usually send.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if any other person has noticed it. That
Yes.
one usually drop.
The one I always send to
the
you.
combined one.
The one I always send to you, firstly,
Yes, sir.
has solutions to some of the questions. Abi,
And
it has solution.
maybe
Me, I
you
don't send my
summary or
solution in
something,
Excel.
I don't know.
Do you understand? So please, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I believe God will help us. Let's go ahead. Public sector audit. What do we understand by audit? What is audit? Audit, like you always say, audit is a process carried out by what? Qualified accountants, during which accounting record and financial statement of organization are subjected to examination by an appointed auditor, with the main purpose of expressing opinion in accordance with the terms of appointment. Basically, what audit means an independent examination of financial statements carried out by an appointed persons, with the objective of reviewing the financial statement in order to express opinion as to the true and fair view of the financial. What this means basically means is, audit simply means the review of financial statements. The review of what? Financial statements. We are reviewing the financial statement. Somebody else prepared the financial statement. Accountant prepared financial statement. So for that financial statement, for us to state whether it's true and fair, somebody else has to review it. That review is done by an auditor. So audit means review of financial statement. So as we have audit in private sector, where we audit the financial statement of a company. In government too, we have audit, where at the end of the year, the government financial statement is going to be audited. However, we have external auditor in private sector. We also have external auditor in government too. The chief external auditor of government in the for the government, the chief external auditor is called what? Auditor
The Auditor
General
of the Federation.
of the Federation is the chief external auditor. Is the one that go to the ministry, department, and agency that will go and audit financial statements. Do we understand? Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, objective of audit. Why do we audit? What are the primary objective of audit? The primary objective of audit is to express opinion as to the free and fair view of the financial statement, to state whether the financial statement is prepared on a true and fair view. This primary objective, we can break it down into different headings. This primary objective can be break down into different headings. What are the different headings of the primary objective of the audit? Number one, completeness. To ensure that all the transactions that occurred during the year have been recorded. Completeness means to ensure that all the transactions that occurred during the year have been recorded. Why another one? Occurrency. To ensure that all the recorded transactions are properly occurred and were relevant to the year of account. That means, what this one means is that only transactions that occurred in 2025 is the one that we are going to recognize in the financial statement of 2025. We are not going to recognize transactions that occur in 2026 in 2025 financial statements. Measurements. To ensure that all recorded transactions are properly valued. All recorded transactions are properly what? Valued, calculated, measured in accordance with what? Accounting policy, and on acceptance and consistency basis. To ensure that all recorded transactions have been properly valued, calculated, measured in accordance with established accounting policy on acceptance and consistency basis. Why another one? Regularity. To ensure that the recorded transactions are in accordance with primary, objective, primary and secondary legislation. That means all the recorded transactions, they follow the relevant legislation. Indirectly, they follow the relevant law. Another one, disclosure. To ensure that all the recorded transactions have been properly classified and disclosed where appropriate. To ensure that all the recorded transactions have been properly classified and disclosed where appropriate. Now, what are the factors contributing to an effective audit? For us to have an effective audit, that means for us to conduct a good audit, what factor will contribute to that audit to be an effective, to be a good audit? What factor contribute to an effective audit? Number one, independence of the auditors. Independence of what? Of the auditor. If the auditor is independent, is free, is given free hand to do his job without any influence, without any bias, is going to have effective audit. If the auditor is not controlled by the management, is given free hand, is supported to do his job, is not influenced, is not being threatened, we are going to have effective audit. Another factor, the adequacy and scope of auditor's power. The adequacy and scope of auditor's power. This one too will contribute to an effective audit. The scope of auditor, the scope of auditor should be wide. Do you understand? It should not be restricted. It should be given a lot of scope so that he can conduct a lot of his job. He can cover so many areas while doing the audit. Why the next one? The expertise and professionalism of the auditors. That means this one is talking about the knowledge, the knowledge and the professional experience of the auditors. Audit is a profession. The more you stay long in audit, the more you gather knowledge, experience. Do you understand? So you can't compare somebody that have 2 years audit experience with somebody that has been auditing 20 years. That one will have gathered experience, knowledge. So if we want to have effective audit, it depends on what? The knowledge, the skills, the level of training of the auditors. So that means the expertise and professionalism of the auditors and the staff. The resources at the auditor disposal too contribute. The resources at the auditor disposal, that means the audit fees too contribute to an effective audit. Freedom of reporting and quality of the nature of report too contribute to an effective audit. Freedom of reporting and quality of the nature of report also contribute to an effective audit. Freedom of reporting and quality. Why the last one? Restricted access to record. You are not. Why? Lastly, stakeholder support. The stakeholder support. Those who the auditor wants to audit, they need to support the auditors by providing him some relevant information. Stakeholder support too will contribute to an effective audit. The stakeholder support will also contribute to an effective audit. Now, the next area we are looking at, what are the legal, statutory, and regulatory framework of public sector audit? What are the legal and statutory and regulatory framework of public sector audit? Number one, the Nigeria Constitution of 1999. This legal, statutory, and regulatory framework of public sector audit means if you want to do a public sector audit, what are the laws that you need to follow? What are the laws that you need to follow? What are those laws that guide public sector audit? What are those laws that guide public sector audit that you need to consider when you are doing public sector audit? Number one is what? The Nigeria Constitution of 1999. The Nigeria Constitution of 1999 is the number one law or statutory or framework of public sector audit. the Nigeria Constitution of 1999. So some of the section of the Constitution is talking about audits, public sector audits. There is a particular section that talk about appointments, duties, and removal of Auditor General for the Federation. There is a particular section that talk about appointments, duties, removal of Auditor General of the Federation. Do you understand? There is another section too that talk about of consolidated. Yeah.
So I can't hear you anymore.
Same here.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So, number one statutory framework, Nigeria Constitution of 1990 what? 1999. Another statutory framework, Audit Ordinance Act of 1956. Audit Ordinance Act of what? 1956. In Audit Ordinance Act of 1956, as amended, this act covered audit and accountability in public sector. And this act hello, can you hear me now?
I hear you, sir.
Another legal and statutory framework of public sector audit, Finance Control and Management Act of 1958. Finance Control and Management Act of 1958. This one too is talking about the responsibility for preparation of financial statement. Who is responsible for preparation of financial statement? The financial statement, Finance and Control and Management Act is saying who is responsible. The financial statement must be prepared by who? Accountant General. At the end of every year, the Accountant General is the one responsible to prepare the financial statement of the government. After preparing it, he must submit it to the Auditor General for audits. We have Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. This one too, they are the legal and statutory framework governing public sector audit. Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. This one too is governing public sector audits. So what that one means too is this one is talking about any amount that government want to spend must be provided for in the budget. Government must prepare budget every year to guide their expenditures, to guide their revenue. So this act, Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007, guide against reckless management of public funds. It guide against reckless management of public funds. We have another one, Public Procurement Act of 2007. This one is talking about when government want to award contract. They want to award contract. They want to do some other thing. In such case, that contract must be awarded to the most qualified contractor. The contract must be awarded to the most qualified contractors. So, and the qualified contractor that government award the contract to must ensure that there is transparency. When government is awarding contract to contractor or procurement of goods, they must ensure transparency accountability, and efficiency that have to do with work, good, and services. So that is what we have. Now, the next area we are looking at in this public sector audit, benefit of audit planning. Benefit of what? Audit planning. What do we understand by audit planning? Audit planning means before we start our audit, the standard we establish, the resources we plan, the timetable on how we are going to conduct the audit. That is audit planning. So what are the benefits? What are the benefits of audit planning? What are the benefits of planning before you audit? What benefit do we tend to derive from that? From planning before you audit? What are the benefits? Number one, it helps auditor to divert appropriate attention to important area of the audit. It helps auditor to divert appropriate attention to important areas of the audit. That is the benefit of one of the benefits of audit planning. Another benefit of audit planning is it helps auditor to identify and resolve potential problems on a timely basis. It helps auditor to identify and resolve potential problems on a timely basis. Why another benefit of audit planning? It helps auditor to properly organize, manage the audit so that it can perform effective, so that it's performed in an effective and efficient manner. Audit planning too also facilitate direction and supervision of engagement team member. Audit planning too facilitate direction and supervision of engagement team member. Now, the next area we are looking at, type of public sector audit. What are the type of audit that we have in public sector? What are the type of public sector audits? What are the type of audit that we have in public sector? What are the type of public sector audits? What are the type of audit that we have in public sector? Number one, compliance audits. Number one is what? Compliance audits. What do we understand by compliance audits? Compliance audit is an audit that is carried out to ensure that all the relevant regulation, law, legislation are complied with. This is to review whether government comply with all the relevant legislation, regulation, law, and so on like that. So the essence of compliance audit is to review the level of compliance made by an organization. Do you understand? To ensure that organization comply with the law, legislation, policy, standard established to guide such organization. This compliance audit can be conducted, can be carried out at any point in time. At any time, we can carry out compliance audit. It is not necessarily end of the year. So as the need arises, we can do compliance audit. So we use it to determine whether we have diverted from the standard or we are diverted from the law, the policy established to guide the organization. Financial audit. What do we understand by financial audit? Financial audit is conducted at the end of the year. Financial audit is conducted at the end of the year. And when we conduct financial audit at the end of the year, what do we need? What do we do with financial audit? when we conduct financial audit at the end of the year, the essence of this financial audit is to determine whether the financial statement is free from errors or material misstatements. Is to determine whether the financial statement is free from error or material misstatement. Indirectly, what financial audit means is to determine whether the financial statement is free, is prepared on a true and fair view, that there is no error or there is no material misstatement in the financial statement. So this financial audit is conducted at the end of every year. Another one, value for money audit. What does value for money audit mean? Value for money audit is an audit that is conducted to ensure that we derive maximum value from return. Value for money audit is conducted to ensure that we derive maximum benefit from utilization of scarce resources. Value for money audit is conducted to ensure that maximum benefit is derived from the utilization of what? Scarce resources. Maximum benefit is derived from utilization of what? Scarce resources. The whole essence of value for money audit is to ensure that every activities carried out within government, we carried it out with the least possible cost plus maximum value. So auditor conducts value for money audit to review the resources of an organization to ensure that that resources owned by the organization is properly used and we derive maximum value from such resources. So indirectly, we can say value for money audit is the review of financial transaction to confirm that an organization has received adequate benefit for the money expended. The review of financial transaction to confirm that an organization has received adequate benefit from the money expended. This value for money audit has three components. We have three components of value for money audit. We call them 3 E's of value for money audit. 3 E's of value for money audit. Number 1, economy. Number 2, efficiency. While number 3, effectiveness. We have 3 E's for value for money audit: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. These are the 3 E's of value for money audit. What economy means? Economy means the process of acquiring resources at the least possible cost. In economy, we want to consider that what resources can we acquire at the least cost? How do we get goods and services at the least cost? How do we select contractors that have the least cost, provided that the quality will not be jeopardized? That is what economy means. Economy is talking about the process of acquiring resources at the least possible cost. Efficiency. What do we understand by efficiency? Efficiency simply means using the resources in such a way that will produce greatest possible amount. That means efficiency is talking about how do we use the resources to get maximum output? How do we use our input to get maximum output? How do we generate maximum output from the minimum input? So efficiency used to reduce wastage of government resources, of an organization resources, to ensure that the little resources we are using, we are getting maximum benefit, maximum output from it. If government spend 10,000 naira, they should get benefit that is more than 10,000 naira. That is what efficiency is talking about. The process of getting maximum output from minimum input. That is what efficiency is talking about. Now, mandate of efficiency units. What are the mandate of efficiency units? What does this mean? Mandate of efficiency units. In public sector, we have efficiency unit, a unit or department that ensure that government generates maximum output from minimum input. We have efficiency unit. What are the key function or objective of setting up this efficiency unit? Number one is to review government spending pattern using data from the budget implementation reports. Hello,
Yes,
can you hear
yes,
me now?
yes, Idris, go ahead. We can hear you.
The network is bad, so I'm trying my best to ensure that we complete the lecture. So please, I'm sorry for the interruption. Now, another mandate of efficiency unit is to work closely with ministry, department, agency, to review work procurement process for specific expenditures line. Another mandate of efficiency unit that we have is to agree changes, process improvement to reduce wastage and make savings. To agree changes or process improvement to reduce wastage and make savings. Another one is to promote changes in the culture of public spending by ministry, department, agency to one of prudency and savings. Why another mandate of efficiency unit is to collaborate with government institutions whose responsibility have bearing with those units. So these are the mandate of efficiency unit. So we are on a component of value for money audit. One of the value for money audits, I said they have three components. Value for money audit have three components. One of their components is efficiency. We just finished explaining efficiency now, and we look at mandate of efficiency unit. One of the mandate of efficiency unit is also to identify and implement price guideline benchmark of MDA to offer opportunity for quick win and large saving. So please, ladies and gentlemen, one of the areas that you need to take note in this topic is the area of mandate of efficiency unit. Please try to note at least 5 mandate of efficiency unit. This area is very important. 5 mandate of efficiency unit. Take note of it. 5 mandate of efficiency unit. We should know at least 5 mandates. Now, let's look at another component of value for money audit. Effectiveness. What do we understand by effectiveness? Effectiveness simply means using the resources. We are using resources in relation to government. We are using government resources in such a way to achieve desired results. Using government resources in such a way to achieve desired results. So what effectiveness means is we are working towards established objective. In effectiveness, the objective, the standard that was set, we want to meet up the standard. So effectiveness is different from efficiency. Efficiency is more relevant than effectiveness. You can be effective, not efficient. You can be efficient, not effective. Two of them work together. But the most important one is for you to be efficient. So effectiveness is talking about timeline, meeting your tasks within the timeline. What you are asked to do, you meet it up within the timeline. But in the case of efficiency, you are maximizing your time. After you have met your tasks within the timeline, since you have extra time, you use it to achieve other things too. You do not stay idle. But in the case of effectiveness, once you have achieved the task given to you within the appropriate time, you will not do any other thing again. That is effectiveness. So we have looked at the 3 components of value for money audit: economy, effectiveness, efficiency, and effectiveness. Economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. These are the 3 components of value for money audit. These are the 3 components of value for money audit. Now, what are the 5 steps for successful value for money audit? What are the 5 steps for us to have a successful value for money audit? What are the steps that we need to follow? What are those 5 steps that we need to follow for us to have a successful value for money audit? Number 1, initial analysis of the project area. That means what this one means is that you need to analyze the area that you want to conduct value for money audit. You need to analyze them. Initial analysis of the project area for the value for money audit through the analysis of annual budget or annual financial statement. Is it on personnel cost you want to conduct value for money audit? Is it on capital expenditures? Do you understand? Is it on donation? Is it on grants? Is it on overheads that you want to conduct your value for money audit? You need to review initial analysis of the project area through which you want to conduct your value for money audits. Another one, adequate planning, coordination, and control of the audits. After you have analyzed the project area, you need to do planning. You need to do coordination and control of that area that you want to audit. Why the next step is determination of the next step is introduction of main study area of the auditee. You need to introduce those you want to do value for money audit to. You need to introduce to them the area that you want to audit, the purpose of the value for money audit, the time that the value for money audit will take, the member of staff, the member of audit team that want to do the value for money audit, the objective of that audit. So introduction of main study area to the auditee. After that, you need to carry out compliance tests. You need to carry out compliance tests to determine the strength of internal control operation or to determine the strength of internal control system. Compliance test is a test that is conducted to review whether the internal control is being applied as prescribed by the management in theory and in practice. We use compliance test to test whether the internal control is strong or weak. If the internal control is weak from the result of our compliance test, we are going to, that will carry out to the next step of value for money audit, carry out substantive tests. If you do compliance test and the internal control is weak, you need to carry out substantive tests. Why doing compliance tests? Mostly, if you want to do compliance test, you make use of random sampling of transaction. You cannot review all the transaction while doing compliance test. We do sampling of the transaction because the transaction is too much voluminous. You cannot say you want to review all the transaction, but you can do random check. By doing random check, that is compliance test. Compliance test. If the random check you do and you can confirm. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So we have talked about compliance tests, substantive tests. The next step after you have conducted substantive test is for you to do a report writing. Is for you to write a report. To write a report. Write a report. By writing a report from your value for money audit, you write a report. After you write a report, you follow up actions involved. You follow up actions involved. Based on what you gather from your value for money audit, based on the area of weakness you identify, you follow up with those involved to ensure that they do correction, to ensure that correction is made. They implement your recommendation, your suggestion, they implement it, was implemented. So what are those factors contributing to an effective value for money audit? One of the factors contributing to an effective value for money audit is the first factor contributing to an effective audit. The same factor contributing to an effective audit is the one contributing to effective value for money audits. The same factor contributing to an effective audit is the one contributing to an effective value for money audit. Independence of the auditors. Independence of what? Of the auditor. The auditor must be independent. If you want to have effective value for money audit, the auditor must be independent. The adequacy and scope of the auditor's powers too will contribute to effective value for money audit. The expertise and professionalism of the auditors and his staff too will contribute to an effective value for money audit. The resources at the auditor's disposal too will contribute to an effective value for money audit. Freedom of reporting and quality nature of reports will contribute to an effective value for money audit. Unrestricted access to record will also contribute to an effective value for money audit. Stakeholder support too will contribute to an effective value for money audit. So these are the factors contributing to an effective value for money audit. So the last, we are on type of public sector audit. Today, we have looked at compliance audit, we have looked at financial audit, we have also looked at value for money audit as part of the type of public sector audit. Another type of public sector audit that we want to look at, that is where we are going to stop today, is called internal audits. Internal audits. What do we understand by internal audits? Internal audit. What is internal audit? Internal audit is an independent appraiser of activities within an organization. An independent appraiser of activities within an organization for the review of operation as service to management. When you review activities within an organization as a service to management, what does that mean? Internal auditor report to management, while external auditor report to the shareholder. Internal auditor is part of the service that performed by the management, because internal auditor is reporting to the management. They use it to review their operation to ensure that their operation is being carried out according to the laid down guideline. Scope of internal audit function. What are the scope of internal audit function? In internal audit function, we have different scope. One of the scope of internal audit function is prepayment audit and post-payment audits. Another scope of internal audit function is vouching of payroll and third-party claims. It's another scope. Auditing of store movement and records too is another scope of internal audit function. Conduct internal audit investigation and evaluation of management is another scope. Another scope of internal audit function, constant review and appraisal of existing internal control measures is another scope. So when we are asked, what are the scope of internal audit function? Number one, prepayment and postpayment audits, vouching of payroll and third-party claim, auditing of store movements and records, conducting internal investigation and evaluation of management, while constant review of existing internal control measures is another scope of internal audit function. So these are all the scope of internal audit function. What do you understand by prepayment audit? The audit that is carried out by internal auditor before you pay for a transaction, before payment voucher is infected, before you make payment, the audit conducted by an internal auditor. When you want to make a payment, you are given a payment voucher was prepared, you are given an invoice. Internal audit will check the arithmetic accuracy of it. Internal audit will also check whether the appropriate tasks like value-added tasks, withholding tasks, have been recognized. Internal audit will also check whether that transaction is approved by the management. All these are the prepayment audits. Post-payment audits. It is an audit that is conducted after payment for goods and services. This is also conducted by internal auditor. After we have paid for the goods and services, do we actually receive the good? Internal auditor will confirm whether we actually receive the good after we have paid for it. The good that we receive, is it the specification stated in the pro forma invoice? What number of goods do we receive? The tax that we deducted, the withholding tax that we deducted from the payment, have we remitted to the appropriate government agency? This is post-payment audits. It is conducted by internal auditors. Now, 5 assessments that an external auditor should conduct before relying on internal audit work. External auditor cannot do primary review of book and record. External auditor cannot review the transaction 100%. He has to rely on the report of internal auditor in some cases. He can't review the transaction 100%. He has to look at what internal auditor have done. From there, he can start his own work. External auditor cannot start that he want to start doing the audit from 0 level. So before external auditor can rely on internal audit job, what are the factors that external auditor need to consider before relying on internal audit job? The degree of independence of the internal auditor. External auditor will consider that this internal auditor is in independence, though it's appointed by management, is reporting to management, but is he independence of the management? Is he not afraid of the management? If he's not independent, that means external auditor cannot rely on his work. That means he's going to be compromised. The scope and objective of internal audit function. External auditor will also consider the scope and objective of internal audit functions too. That one too will be considered. The scope and objective of internal audit function. The level of deep professional care exercised by the internal auditor. External auditor will also review the level of professional care exercised by the internal auditor. Technical competence. The technical competence of the internal auditor, that means the updated knowledge. The new knowledge possessed by the internal auditor. The update knowledge in the industry, in tax industry, in audit industry, in accounting industry, that the internal auditors have. As an internal auditor, you need to have technical competence. That means you need to know the updated knowledge in your field. We have another one, the quality and the quantity of internal audit reports. We consider that too. External auditor consider that too. Why the last one that we consider, the quality and standard of working paper. External auditor, before relying on internal audit job, we consider the quality and standard of working paper. Now, what are the differences between internal audit and external audit? In terms of appointment, external auditor is appointed by shareholder, while internal auditor is appointed by the management. Internal auditor is an employee of the company. In terms of role and work, the role and work of internal auditor is limited based on the management. Why, in the case of external auditor, their role and their work will be determined by the shareholder. In terms of qualification, anybody can become an internal auditor. There is no law that said, though in bank, there is a law, before you can become internal auditor of a bank, you have to be a chartered accountant in some organizations too. But generally, there is no law that said this is the qualification that must be possessed by internal auditor. But in the case of external auditor, you must be a qualified accountant with experience in audit and investigation. The scope of work. External auditor scope of work is determined by audit committee, while internal auditor scope of work is determined by the management. in terms of reports, external auditor report to the shareholder, while internal auditor report to who? To the management. So these are the difference. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to stop today. By next week, we continue our public sector audit. So thank you for having me. Any question, any observation?
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any question?
I've raised my hand. I have questions.
Okay.
While we are stating the difference between the internal and external auditor, you made mention that the internal auditor, he was appointed by the management, while the external auditor is appointed by the shareholder. Are we referring to private or public sector here?
We
Or
are
is
referring to
for both
private
places?
sector. Private sector. We
Okay.
are not referring to government.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sorry,
Yeah,
mine is not a question. Please, would you mind sharing this material with
I
us
can
on the
hear you.
group? Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, mine is not a question. Would you mind sharing the material with us on the group? I've searched for it. I didn't see it. The public
Yes,
sector audit.
this
Please.
particular thing.
Okay, I will
Let
share
me
it
see.
to the group
Thank you,
Yes,
after
sir.
the
all right.
class.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me. Have a nice day.
All right, sir. Thank you. Have a nice day, too.